You guys, Drine here, and today we will be working on our palace once again. And in this video, we will hopefully be able to finish the entire exterior. This is gonna be a lot of work, but I already have a ton of ideas, and I'm really excited to work on this thing. So let's do this. I am so incredibly excited for this thing, because originally when I was editing the previous video, I realized that my commentary was so incredibly bad and I lost all hope for this project. I literally just closed my editing software without saving and I deleted my files. Yeah, I was just like, this is never gonna work out, this video is gonna be terrible, I give up. But the next day I decided to record the whole thing again. I decided to give it another go, and in the end I was really happy with that video, and it has given me so much hope for this video. As you might remember, in our previous video I was really unsure about what to do with this build, but I got to work for I think 2 or 3 hours and I got some designs ready, and I guess I'll show them to you. But before all of that, I actually copied this thing over here, so in the end we will be able to see the full progress, and I think that would be really cool. Oh, and also I've actually made some changes to this thing here. So I found a better picture of the back on the internet, and I noticed that instead of, instead of this rectangle thing coming out, it was actually a circle and with something in the middle. And I also made some changes to the garden. So over here I made a staircase that basically just skipped past the whole stone platform and just went immediately to the garden. Now in reality you actually go down the stairs once to get onto the stone platform, and then you go down again to get into the garden. So these are little changes I made. And now that you're up to date, I can show you my plans for this build. So the first thing I want to tackle today is this stone platform with like the little towers and staircases to the side. And these are the designs I've come up with. So this is actually the first one I built, but this is more medieval style. Again, I'm used to building castles, so this is what I would use if it was a castle, but palaces are generally more smooth and not that broken up. So that's how I came to this design. So this is what you will be standing on. That's going to be the floor for the stone platform, and these are going to be the walls. We have some bits over here, I'm not sure what they're called, crenellations I think. And I also have a design for the support pillars I will be using over here, for example. So I'm definitely going to use this design for the stone base. And now it is time for the exterior of our palace, and that's where these things come in. So these are the designs I have come up with, but we're gonna use a mix and match of all of their parts. But I'm going too fast. Let me first explain what I did here. So if you're building something this big, it could be really nice to have like a color gradient, and you want the darker colors to be at the bottom and the lighter colors on top. And that is what I made here. Using the red terracotta and normal terracotta, blending it into stripped acacia logs, jungle, and oak, it creates this really nice gradient effect. And you can see I've used this gradient for the actual build. Now if you look at the image of the castle, you can see that they have some gradient as well. So yeah, it's not that far from reality. Anyways, let's now talk about this thing right here. So I've made 4 designs here, but they're actually not separate designs. You can split them up into 4 parts. You have that part over here. This doesn't actually change. I'm really happy with this, so that's one I'm definitely gonna use in the final build. Then we have this middle part over here. I've tried them out with and without these fences, and I think I'm gonna go for the fenced one. And you can see I've recreated a part of the palace with 3 stories, and you might have also seen it in the previous video, but this story, the first one, is actually I think 1 or 2 blocks higher than the others. This is because if you take a look at the image, you can see that there are some really big windows on the first floor and then normal sized windows on the second, third, and fourth. So that's exactly what I've done here too. So basically really big windows over here and then windows that are, I think, 1 block shorter on the other stories. So what's really important with the build I'm doing is, first of all, the color gradient, but also the transition is really important. For example, here you go from stone straight to acacia, and if you would do something like this, that doesn't look great. So you need a row of something that just splits them apart basically. And you'll need an extra color for that. In this case it's red terracotta, and I've also added some depth with these trapdoors. And I've done that here as well. Here going from acacia to jungle. You can see I have some terracotta behind these trapdoors. And on this level the same terracotta, but this time there are oak trapdoors. Now for the windows itself, what I like to do in Minecraft is when you're building something, make it look like it's not Minecraft anymore. Basically make your build look like it's not made out of cubes. So what I've done here is use trapdoors to make this window look smaller, and I've used stairs to round up the window, and from far away that creates this really nice effect. So the first part is this stone. I've only made 1 design for this. The second part is all of this. I have 2 designs for this, with and without the fences, and next are the roofs. So I have 4 designs for this roof. The first design I made is just using polished andesite blocks and polished andesite stairs. It looks good from afar, but it's a little bit too bright. Next I tried cobblestone. This is not cobblestone, it's stone brick and andesite. And I really like it, but again this is a little bit too much of a medieval style. Unfortunately it's not something for a palace. And next we have our polished basalt, and I really like this roof. I'm definitely gonna use it. Unfortunately there are no stairs or slabs for this roof, so I can't really round it out like this, but I think that's alright. It looks really cool. But you might have seen that I have actually 2 of them here. That's because these are full blocks and they block light. So I think you can see a little bit of a difference between these 2 builds. Because these are full blocks, it darkens everything, and I didn't like that. So what I did is I used the light blocks. The light blocks is something that will get implemented into the Java edition in the Caves and Cliffs update. But Minecraft Bedrock already had them for a little while. So you can clearly see I've used some light blocks for this one. And then there's only one more thing left to talk about, and that is the top of the roof. Now I really like to decorate them with all sorts of spikes and random things. And I've just made some designs here. So this design is a bit weird, but it uses a lot of the blocks from recent updates. I don't think I'm gonna use that one as it's kinda light, and I already told you that I'm going with this dark roof. This is actually my favorite, but again it doesn't really go with the dark roof. I already have decided on all of these, but I'm still not sure about these 2. So yeah, that is all I have done off camera. But I know what you're thinking, Brian, this series is meant to show the entire building process. Why haven't you shown any of this? Well, that's because this, figuring out everything, takes a very long time. When you're figuring out stuff like this, the first thing you do is, of course, go to your inventory, and most of the time you're just scrolling through trying to find the right blocks. Basically you just pick some blocks with roughly the same color and you throw them together and you try all of the textures and see what works best. But yeah, it's just throwing some blocks together and standing back. How does it look? If it looks great, keep it. If it doesn't look great, try another block. And once you have figured out the blocks, then you want to detail it up. So you want to make space for windows. You want to figure out where your floors will be. In this case, it's right at these borders. So once you've got your blocks and punched out some windows, then you need to think about breaking up the transition. And I've already talked about that. Generally, you want to have a darker block in the middle, and you also want something that sticks out to give it some more depth. Anyways, the design decisions have been made, and it's now time to actually start working on our palace. So the first thing I want to do is tackle this stone base. So I'm gonna build the walls, build the small towers, build the staircases. I think I might also start with the garden, and then I will start working on this thing. So turn on the music and let's do this. And there we go. Oh my goodness. I might have went no, I completely went overboard with the details. I placed so many fences and trapdoors. But yeah, this is the build and it looks phenomenal. I did not think it was gonna turn out this good. So before I show it to you, I just want to show you the importance of elements of life. So right now we are in a backup of the world I made before I started putting all of the details in. So you can see I don't have anything going on the stone platform. I also don't have a garden, and the top of the roofs aren't decorated either. When you're building, something very important are elements of life. You want to make your build feel like it's alive, that there's things going on, and make it look like people are living there, plants are growing. And with this I just want to show you how important that is. Right now this is just a building and it looks great, the building looks great, but it doesn't feel alive and there are no small details, which are very important. But if you compare it to this build right here, you can see there are small details, there's foliage, there's plant life, and it just makes this build look 10 times better. And the only thing I did was just adding some benches, some tables, some patterns in the ground, some plant life, and I think lanterns, and that just transformed this build into a living, breathing place. Anyways, you probably want a little tour of this, so this is the front, so we have the main entrance right here, and we can go over here. You know what, I've speed 255, I can go around like this. So this right here is the front, and if we come around here, this is where the garden is at. So this is like the side of the building. You have a door right here, which leads to this staircase, and you can go down into the garden. The garden looks a lot different from the actual garden, but I don't know, I just wanted to do something that wasn't just looking at a picture and trying to rebuild it in Minecraft. I wanted to do something myself here. Now if we come around the back, there we go. You can see we have a great view of our big clock tower, and this right here is the art gallery. We also have this, whatever it's called, I forgot the name. So yeah, at the back of the build you have like a little fountain thingy, you have a staircase going down, and you have a lot of tables. And if we come around over here, this is probably the worst part of this whole build. The tower looks pretty stupid. I don't know, it just looks weird. It looks a bit too compressed or something. So right now I have black concrete behind the windows, but when we actually build the interior, it'll actually make this build a lot more busy for the eyes, and it's not gonna look as great as this one right here. But I still want to do the interior. So yeah, I'm just gonna, like I've been doing here, I've just been copying every step. So you can see I have this castle twice. This is for this video, and then I will work for the interior on this one right here. And that way I still have my version with the black concrete and the one with the interior. So yeah, if you're curious how I copy these things, in the beginning of the video I think I showed you how I copied this design over here, and I did that layer by layer, and that was very slow. So to copy this whole thing over to here, I actually did it, I think, in 2 steps. I did the first, I think, 30 blocks and then everything else. So you can see I have the command ready and I enter, and then I have to wait about 5 minutes for it to load. And after a while you can see the frames starting to drop, there's a lot of lag. And after that you can finally see the amount of blocks I cloned. And yeah, I just can't believe how we managed to turn this into this. It was a huge time lapse. I think in the end I had about 25 gigabytes of footage, and that's not even all of it, because sometimes I forgot to record, or I was simply building something that wasn't even visible to the camera account, so I just didn't record it. So yeah, let me give you a tour of this build from a player perspective. So this is the main entrance. So I have these iron bars right here, but these are just for decoration. In the actual castle, I think they connect to like the bedrooms and stuff for the servants, but I'm not gonna do the interiors for this part. I will only be doing the interior for the upper part and not all of this down here. So yeah, anyways, this is the main entrance. We got a staircase here, a nice floor pattern, and we can go in here and you can see this beautiful ceiling pattern I made. What am I doing? Okay. And I actually used this pattern a bunch of times around the palace. So let's go over here. You have some benches here, you got some plants. This build is actually really big. I think it's 60 blocks high, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a lot. It's really big. And then over here we have our upper terrace. Now I needed a way to connect this part with this part, and I did that by building a tunnel. I think this is also in the actual castle. Unfortunately, I do have these blocks here. That's because I wanted to have a pattern up here, but I think it's totally worth it, because most of the time I'm only seeing this build from up above. So to access the upper terrace, we can just go up this staircase, and then we have some tables here and a bench. And this thing right here is also pretty cool. It's like a covered walkway. I don't know what it's called. But you can see I've used the same ceiling design I did for the entrance right there. Anyways, if we continue, you can see we got a lot more tables around here. These are also these small towers on the corners. There's nothing inside of them. So again, we have this tower right here. From within the first floor of the tower, you will be able to access this spot right here. You can stand here and look over this area, I guess. And on both sides of the building, we have these things. You can see that this is supposed to be a door, and you can stand here and it's like a balcony thing or something, and you can go either on the first floor or the second floor. So if we continue around the back, we got a bunch more tables. This is, I think, the biggest floor design. It's simple, but it looks really cool. I like it. And we can continue over here, and this is this like little round extension with like staircases going down with a fountain in the middle. This was a difficult part of the build. So first of all, we have this little extension right here. In the time lapse you can see that I've tried a bunch of blocks. I tried using these blocks, I tried these blocks, but in the end I settled with the acacia. Also in these empty spots right here, there's supposed to be statues there, but it's a too wide gap, so yeah, it doesn't look great when I'm like placing these things here because it just blends in too well. So I decided to leave it open. I think it looks great. So right here we have another one of these covered walkways. So we got a door right here. This is gonna be a window, I think. And this right here is gonna be a tea room. So there's gonna be a little table right here with some chairs. And over here we have another part of our covered walkway. Now let's also show you the garden. I wasn't really sure what to put in here. So right here we got a lot of rose bushes, peonies, and pink and white tulips. In the middle we got a big tree and some rings of flowers. I think it looks really cool. We also have these red and orange flowers over here. This right here is a little pond. I think it looks great. At the back we have like these exotic type of plants. Of course they're just plants from the Nether, but I like to believe that there are from a whole other country, and yeah, I like it. Now this thing right here is of course just a pumpkin field, and over here we got a collection of white flowers. It's not the best garden I've built, but it's alright. Also I should probably point out some interesting things about this build. This thing right here is of course our tea room. This thing right here has a double roof, so we got a roof that goes like that, and then up there we have the actual roof. I also made these really cool window patterns over here. I really like this one, and also I especially like this one at the front. I'm really happy with this one. At the top of the art gallery we also have this like, I have no idea what it's called, but it's something that's on the original castle as well. Not castle, it's palace. It's on the original palace. Now on top of every rooftop you can also see these black stone decorations. These work great when the top of the roof is 1 block, but I didn't plan well enough, and basically all of my roofs turned out 2 block wide, and in this case 3 blocks wide. Also something you might have realized is that I'm building these roofs with full blocks. You would think that building things out of full blocks would make roofs look really stupid, right? No, I figured out a way to make them look smooth. This roof is I think 3x3, but these are 2x2, and I had a big challenge to be able to make this appear smooth. But I think I figured it out. I think it looks great. I might even do a tutorial for these if you guys want to. But yeah, these are the little turret towers, I think that's what they're called, for the clock tower. You can see I've made this like cool design over here using some fences and fence gates. Unfortunately there's no nether brick fence gate, so I had to use spruce, but from a distance you don't really see the difference. And I think with that I showed you everything. Maybe I can show you this at night. You might have seen it in the time lapse already. So I've not light up everything, I've just placed them in all of these windows, and this is what it would look like if the interiors were fully done, because light would be coming through the windows, and I think it looks pretty cool. I really like this. So we got light coming through the windows, and we also have these lanterns on the walls here, and all of that combines for a really cool looking build. I am really happy with this. But yeah, anyways, that was it for this video. We did the whole entire exterior of our palace, and it was a huge project, but in the end we managed to do it, and I'm really happy with it. But also that means it is the end for this video, because in this video we did the exterior, and in the next one we will be tackling the interior. So yeah, I want to thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you hopefully in the next video. Goodbye.